Got another gadget to check out today from banggood.com. This one's an endoscope or a borescope, which is essentially a camera on a long neck that you can check out plumbing and check out inside walls and heating systems and everything. Let's check it out. The fine folks over at banggood.com have sent me a digital inspection endoscope to show off. This is a borescope, basically a camera attached to about a 10-foot long tether that you can put into walls and into plumbing fixtures and into engines to inspect the inside. This is something a mechanic would have in his bag of tools so that he can actually look inside the engine and see whether your valves, for example, are contaminated or are carboned up. And very useful tool. Plumbers will use something like this to look into your plumbing. And here's the unit itself. I've done a couple quick little shots with it, so we'll take a look at the actual images off of the camera itself. Comes with a couple of accessories. Haven't even looked at the accessories. Oh, that's the charge cord. It has a built-in battery. Comes with a couple of different accessories that you can screw onto the end of it. One of them is this one's actually a magnet, which is useful for fishing walls with a ball chain. And there's a hook that you can use, like if you're fishing a wall, to hook your pull line. If you're trying to pull a wall, if you're trying to fish a wall, and you've got your pull cord drop down the wall, and you need to fish it, you can see it with the camera and fish it with this. It also comes with a little mirror. This one would be good for example, if you're inspecting an engine and you want to look at the valves. When you put the borescope down through the spark plug hole, of course it's going to be looking at the crown of the piston. So by putting this end on, you can actually turn it around and look at the heads. That's what that piece is for. And these pieces just screw onto the end of the borescope. So for those that aren't familiar with an endoscope or a borescope, of course endoscopes are more used in medical procedures for looking inside the body. Borescopes it's the same thing, but an endoscope is typically something that a doctor or a surgeon would use to give you an internal inspection without actually having to slice you open. And they can typically put tools down there to do work. And there's the camera. And these different attachments can screw onto the end of this camera. So if we put this one on, for example, now you can see what you're trying to hook. If I turn on the camera here, now of course if you're trying to fish a wall, and I'm not, but if you were trying to fish a wall and you're trying to hook a wire or a pull string or something that's down inside the wall, you can see what you're doing and use the hook to hook whatever it is you're trying to get. So if we'll just pretend that this is what I'm trying to hook, and I'll put it in a dark place, such as a box. You're looking to try and find your pull string or something in the wall. And then you can see it and hook it. There, I've got it. That's one attachment. The other attachment, of course, is the mirror attachment. Okay, this is the mirror, 45-degree mirror attachment. And what this one's for is, this one would be for inspecting inside, say, a cylinder head. If you were using this to inspect down the spark plug hole of your engine or into the intake, this would allow you to look around the inside. I'm just using a roll of tape here, just so you can see that you could turn it around and inspect inside an engine. For those that fish walls for wires for living like I do, this piece is a very useful piece. This piece is magnetic. So for those electricians that fish walls, alarm installers, etc., what we use is we use a ball chain. And we cut into our wall and drop the ball chain down and then go and hook it lower down in the wall. And of course, something like this is very useful because if you can see where that ball chain is, anybody who's ever done it knows that, yeah, you drop the ball chain down the wall, but you don't really know where it is because it can drop anywhere, and you're fishing away with your hook and your magnet looking for the ball chain. So with something like this, of course, you're able to see what's inside the wall. So if your ball chain's hanging down the wall, I don't have one here for demoing, but if your ball chain's hanging down the wall, you can put your camera inside through your retrieval hole at the base of the wall, and look around and see where it is, and when you find it, it will stick to the magnet, and then you can just pull, and you'll see that you've got it because you'll see it at the end of the be better if I had it totally dark in here, but you'll be able to see your ball chain in front of the magnet. You'll see that you've captured it, and then you can retrieve it from the wall. So that's that attachment, as opposed to, of course, the other way is to use the hook. If you're hooking a string, if you've dropped the string down through a wall and you're trying to hook it, you're going to use the hook. If you're using a metal ball chain, which is what we all use, those of us in the business, when you're trying to fish a wall, you drop your ball chain down. And now, instead of just sticking the magnet, normally our ball chain has a magnet on the end of a flexible rod just like this, and we just kind of shove it in the wall and hope that we catch the actual ball chain so we can pull it through. This way you can look in the wall, see where the ball chain is, and go right to it and pick it up. And it is a fairly powerful magnet. As you can see, it's picking up this 1.5 inch, 2 inch lag bolt, no problem. Pick it up, no problem. To record what you're doing, you can press the camera OK button, and it will take a snapshot like that. Let's take a shot of my bench here. Where are we here? Turn it up the other way. Okay. If you press the button once, it'll take a snapshot, just like that. If I press and hold, it will go into video recording mode. So now it's recording a video of this. Now, in the setup, I'm not even bothering with the setup here, but if we go into the setup by just tapping the power setup key quickly, if you press and hold, it turns it on and off. Tap it quickly, and it tells you your resolution: 1080p, 720p, and VGA. Doesn't matter what setting you set it to, the resulting video file is VGA. It's 640 by 480. It doesn't matter what it's set to. It's always the same. It's a 4:3 picture. It's good enough for doing an inspection. Okay, this is not a medical grade endoscope. This is an inspection grade, and for looking through a wall, looking down into a wall, or looking into a drain, or looking into an air conditioner or an engine, this is going to give you a good idea of what's there, because that's what these are used for. They're used by mechanics to inspect an engine. Engine's misfiring. Why is it misfiring? Open up spark plug, drop your borescope down, and take a look around inside the engine cylinder head without having to remove the head. Is it the valves? Is there a bent valve? Did a valve make contact with a piston and cause damage? Did it bend? Well, you'll see it with something like this. Anyway, let's look at some video that I shot. I just did some stuff around the house here. I took a look in a wall, and actually I looked in a joist between the first and second floor, and I took a look in some pipes and even some equipment, to take a look inside equipment that was operational. Anyway, let's take a look at the video. That's about all I can show you on this thing. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, to play back your images, you click there, right? And I can look at what I shot. So for example, I think, yeah, let's take a look at like this one here. That's a JPEG. Let's take a look at, this is inside my heating system, my air conditioner. So if I play this one back by pressing OK, so I can play it back right in the field. So once you've recorded something, you can take a look at it right in the field and see what it was. Oh, this is in the joist. We'll look at the raw files to this, so I don't, you'll see a little better quality, but there we go. Yeah, they wrote smoke detector. That's where the smoke detector's mounted when the house was built. The electrician, or they wrote where they wanted the smoke detector mounted. There it says smoke detector. That's up inside the joist between the floors of the house. And you can see some of my wiring, my Cat 5 lines and stuff in there. Anyway, let's take a look at the files recorded on this, and then I'll put up the link for you guys that might be interested in picking up one of these little units. Say, not something that everyone needs, but you know what? When you need one, they're invaluable. And that's all I have to say about that. It's not something you're going to use every day, but when you need to look inside a wall and you don't want to rip the wall apart, it allows you to see inaccessible places. Like this, I'd never see this without ripping down drywall. So if you're looking for a problem, like a leaking pipe, for example, something like this could be a lifesaver. Anyway, let's look at the files directly from this. So we're looking at between the ceiling on the lower floor and the floor on the second floor and the joists. As you can see, that's where they wanted the smoke detector mounted, the hardwired smoke detector. You can see some Cat 5 wires running through there. This is there's a lot of wires that run between there. This actually is the chase tube between my furnace machine closet and my staircase closet, which is where all my equipment is. So there's a lot of runs of wire going through there. There's actually 3 different light levels. You can cycle between no light and low, medium, and high. So when you see the picture go black there, that's where I turn the light. I'm changing the brightness of the light here so it can see further up the wall. There's a nail sticking through a board there that I can see. As I move the camera around a bit, there's some Cat 5 wire. Next shot, I'm going to stick the camera down into the, this is the condenser unit for my HVAC. So I'm choosing, there's an inspection hole that normally the ultraviolet light sits in for my ultraviolet sanitizer. So I took that light out. I'm just going to feed the camera down and we'll inspect the actual condenser coils and see how they look. Now the reason why the bloody picture is moving around like it is because the system came on and there's air blowing through here right now, so it's blowing the camera around. Incidentally, this is a vacuum hose that I'm checking out now. So I put the borescope down there about 6 feet. Of course, there's nothing wrong with this one. I just want to show it off so you can see what you can do with it. So here I'm going to change the brightness, turning up and down the light. See? Throw more light down there, get a little more detail. And then it's off. This is the low level, and then medium, and then high. Once again, we're going to look into another air vent. Check it out, and then we'll finish up looking into some electronics, a CD or DVD recorder, without taking the thing apart. So we're going to look underneath the mechanism without taking it apart. Okay, I think that about does it. Little basic borescope, endoscope from banggood.com. Link to this is in the description. Useful piece of equipment for many inspection projects. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.